and welcome back to GK Today. I am Yudh Abhyas-2022 and in this video we'll cover the current affairs. Before we move ahead, let me inform you that these questions are part of our daily 20 MCQ series 2022 in the GK Today's Android application. So if you are looking for the text version of these questions and their explanations along with the interactive quiz, you may consider joining our daily 20 MCQ series in the GK Today Android application. In this course in app, you get daily 20 MCQs, a fortnightly quiz, a monthly revision document, and also category-wise revision e-books that are optimized for reading on mobile. You are also able to access all archives of questions from January 2020 onwards. And let me tell you one more thing. If you want the Hindi version of this session, you can refer to our former channel named as GK Today. The link has been given in the description box from where you can reach to. So without taking much of your time, let's get started.
Good morning everyone. Welcome back to GK Today. And today we'll be discussing most important MCQs for 3rd of December 2022. Let's start. As per the recent UNESCO data, what is India's GDP growth for the July to September quarter of 2022 to 23? So as per the provisional estimates that have been released by the National Statistical Office, India's GDP for July to September quarter of the financial year 2022 up to 2023 slowed to 6.3%. Okay, and the GDP saw a growth of 13.5% in the preceding April to June quarter of 2022 to 23, and it was now cut down mainly by the poor performance of manufacturing and the mining sector. Okay, so for this quarter India's GDP growth is 6.3%. Now if you remember, few days back we have talked about OECD that recently it has cut down its growth forecast for India for financial year 23 to 6.6%, right? And earlier they have predicted this value to be at 6.9%, but now they have reduced it. Okay, and the full form of OECD is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Okay, so the forecast and the predictions of different organizations are quite important from your exams perspective. Next is India-US joint military exercise named as Yudh Abhyas-2022 is held in which Indian state? So the 18th edition of the India-US joint military exercise Yudh Abhyas is being held in the state of Uttarakhand, and this exercise is conducted annually between India and the US. So this exercise is held about 100 kilometers from the line of actual control. That's why China actually opposed to this exercise. Okay, so two things are important. Yudh Abhyas is the exercise between which two countries? So answer would be India and the USA. And for the year 2022, what was the venue for this particular exercise? So answer would be Uttarakhand state. Fine. Now let's quickly revise few important exercises. First is, for example, Sampriti. Sampriti is the exercise between India and Bangladesh. Next is Mitra Shakti, right? And Mitra Shakti is the exercise between India and Sri Lanka. Next, third is Maitri exercise. Maitri is between India and Thailand. Okay. Then fourth is Vajra Prahar, and it is the exercise between India and the US. Next is Nomadic Elephant, and this is the exercise between India and Mongolia. Okay. Then sixth is Garud Shakti. Garud Shakti is between India and Indonesia. Another is Shakti. Okay, and Shakti is between India and France. So these are the three different exercises: Mitra Shakti, Garud Shakti, and only Shakti. And different countries are involved in this. Okay, Mitra Shakti involves Sri Lanka, Garud Shakti involves Indonesia, while Shakti itself involves France. Okay, then next is Dharma Guardian. Dharma Guardian is between India and Japan, right? After that, there is Surya Kiran. Surya Kiran is between India and the country Nepal. Fine. And the next is hand in hand exercise. We conduct this exercise with the country China. Then 11th is Simbex. Simbex is between India and Singapore. Okay. Then next is L'Amitié. And now you have to tell me which countries are involved in this particular exercise. Okay. So these are the few exercises that are frequently asked in your exam. So keep in mind. Okay. Next is, as per the recent data, what is the maternal mortality ratio in India during 2018 up to 2020? First of all, what is MMR, means maternal mortality ratio? So this is the figure of number of maternal deaths per 1 lakh live births. Okay, so this value is called as MMR, and as per the social bulletin that has been released by the Registrar General of India, India has witnessed a significant decline in the MMR to 97 per lakh live births in 2018 to 2020, and this figure was at 130 per lakh live births in the year 2014 to 2016. And with this, India has now accomplished the National Health Policy target for MMR of less than 100 per lakh live birth. And don't forget that the Sustainable Development Goal target is 70 per lakh live births. By which year? By obviously 2030. Okay. So here correct answer would be 97 per lakh live births. Now apart from it, don't forget that the World Bank has recently released its flagship report titled as Migration and Development Brief. Okay, and as per the report, remittance flows to India will rise 12% to reach $100 billion this year, and remittances to low and the middle income countries grew by an estimated 5% to now $626 billion in 2022. Fine. So you can be asked that as per the World Bank's Migration and the Development Brief, what is the expected remittance flows to India in 2022 to 23? So correct answer would be $100 billion. Next question is, Economic Cooperation and the Trade Agreement between India and which other country is set to enter into force from December 2022? So India and Australia Economic Cooperation and the Trade Agreement, that is ECTA, will enter into force on 29th of December 2022. And this ECTA will enhance the bilateral trade in goods and the services between the two countries, and also it will create new employment opportunities. So under the agreement, duties on 100% tariff lines are to be eliminated by the country Australia. Fine. So here correct answer would be Australia. Fine. You have to tell me who is presently the Prime Minister of Australia. Do let me know in the comments. Next is, which state launched a scheme to provide 10,000 rupees stipend per annum for females pursuing postgraduate programs? So the state government of Assam has recently launched a scheme to provide the stipend of 10,000 rupees per annum to the female students who are actually pursuing postgraduate programs in educational institutions of the state. Okay, and this stipend would be helpful in covering their commutation and other related expenses of the students. Fine. Now you have to tell me Chhata scheme belongs to which particular state and what is the full form of Chhata. Do let me know in the comments. Next is, which French food product has been recently awarded the UNESCO heritage status? So the French baguette has been recently awarded the UNESCO intangible cultural heritage status. Okay, and as per the National Federation of French Bakeries, more than 6 billion baguettes are baked every year in the country France, and it is a kind of bread with crusty exterior and soft middle, and it is an essential part of French life. Okay, so this is baguette. Now, few days back we have seen that United Nations has recently said that Australia's Great Barrier Reef should be placed in its danger list. Right? Next question says, which is the first country to gather 6 of its astronauts in space? So China has successfully launched the spacecraft that carries 3 astronauts to its space station, and these 3 astronauts met with their colleagues after docking with the under construction space station. Okay, and with this now China becomes the first country to gather 6 of its astronauts into space. And don't forget that Shenzhou 15 spaceship blasted off atop the Long March 2F Y-15 carrier rocket, and the space station is expected to be completed by the end of this year, and once ready, China will be the only country to have its own space station, right? And a few days back we have seen that ISRO has recently conducted the 200th consecutive launch of RH-200 sounding rocket, right? And these rockets are used as the tools for carrying out experiment on astronomy and space physics, right? So you can be asked that which country launched the RH-200 sounding rocket? Answer would be India. Next question says, which institution released a report titled as Carbon Capture, Utilization and Storage Policy Framework? So this report has recently been released by Niti Aayog, and the report actually explores the importance of carbon capture, utilization and its storage as an emission reduction strategy so as to achieve the deep decarbonization. Okay, and the report outlines the broad level policy interventions that are actually needed across various sectors for its application. Fine. Usually Niti Aayog reports are very important, and what's inside is not very relevant. Only thing you have to remember is this is a report from Niti Aayog. Next question says, which country tops the Global Minority Index that is published by the Center for Policy Analysis? So this index has actually placed India on its top position, and then it is further followed by South Korea, Japan, Panama and the US. Okay, and in total it has listed 110 countries. And don't forget that Maldives, Afghanistan and Somalia are placed at the bottom of this list, and this report was released by the former Vice President of India, Mr. M. Venkaiah Naidu. Okay, so basically this index examines how each country treated minority religions. Okay, next is, which state recently launched a graded response action plan to combat pollution? So the West Bengal Environment Department recently announced a graded response action plan, that is GRAP, to combat the rising pollution. And this action plan includes periodic mechanized sweeping and water sprinkling to the roads, ensuring disposal of dust and garbage in the designated sites, and stringent enforcement to stop the open burning of garbage, etc. Fine. So recently GRAP has been launched by West Bengal to combat pollution. Can you tell me which state or the union territory has earlier launched the GRAP to combat pollution? To let me know in the comments. Next is, Mukhyamantri Digital Seva Yojana is an initiative of which particular scheme? Here it should be of which particular state, not a scheme. Okay, so Rajasthan government has launched this Mukhyamantri Digital Seva Yojana, under which women heads of families enrolled in the Chiranjeevi health insurance scheme will actually receive the smartphones with internet connectivity for the next 3 years. And the state has picked Reliance Jio and the Bharti Airtel in nearly 12,000 crore rupees tender to provide the internet access and free smartphones under the scheme. Fine. So only thing here relevant is this is a Yojana from Rajasthan state. Next is the Union Public Service Commission can have a maximum of how many members? So actually UPSC is headed by a chairperson and it can have a maximum of 10 members. Why it was in news? Because the former Health Secretary Preeti Sudan has been appointed as the member of UPSC recently, and with this appointment there is a vacancy of 4 members in the commission. Okay, so here correct answer would be 10. So these are the most important current affairs and the news from today, and now we'll come to our revision section. Which 3 categories we are covering today? So first of all we'll talk about important winners in different segment. After that we'll see important exercises that are relevant, and at third we'll talk about important cricket related current affairs. Okay, let's start with important winners. Which football team won the Durand Cup in 2022? So this cup was won by Bengaluru FC, whose captain was Sunil Chhetri, and Bengaluru FC has won by defeating whom? So it has defeated Mumbai City FC. Okay. Which country won the SAFF Under 17 Championship title in 2022? So India has won this title by defeating the country Nepal. Which racing driver won the Italian Grand Prix title? Answer is Max Verstappen. Which sports person has won the BWF World Championship title in 2022? So it was won by Victor Axelsen, and from which country he belonged to? He is from the country Denmark. And Victor Axelsen has won this title by defeating whom? So he has defeated Kunlavut Vidit Cern. You have to tell me from which country he belonged to. Which tennis player won 23 Grand Slam singles title, the most of any woman in the Open era? So the 23 Grand Slam singles title have been won by Serena Williams. Which country won the gold medal in the open section of the 44th Chess Olympiad? This is the country Uzbekistan. India won its first ever medal in which sport in the Commonwealth Games 2022? So we have won our first ever medal in lawn bowls in the Commonwealth Games this year. Casper Ruud, who recently won the Swiss Open, is from which country? Don't forget that. Who won the Swiss Open? Answer is Casper Ruud, and he is from the country Norway. Which racing driver won the 2022 Hungarian Grand Prix title? So answer would be Max Verstappen. Okay. Now let's see important exercises that were in news. Which country hosted the exercise Operation Southern Readiness? This was hosted by the country Seychelles. Which country is the host of the multinational naval exercise Kakadu 2022? Many a times I have talked about it. Answer is Australia. Which city played host to the harbour phase of Japan-India Maritime Exercise 2022? That is GMEX. First of all, don't forget that GMEX is the exercise between India and Japan, and for its harbour phase, the city Vishakhapatnam was the host. Okay. Which country hosted the exercise Pitch Black 22 Multilateral Defence Exercise? Answer would be Australia. Which Indian Armed Force conducted the Parvat Prahar exercise? This is Indian Army. Indian Army and Indian Air Force conducted a joint exercise named as Gagan Strike in which Indian state? So Gagan Strike was conducted by Indian Army and Indian Air Force in the state of Punjab. Do remember that Indian Navy was not involved in this exercise at all. India conducted a cyber security exercise which is the part of the International Counter Ransomware Initiative in collaboration with which country? Answer would be UK. Which country is the host of the Multilateral Command Exercise Vostok 2022? This is the country Russia. Okay. Now at last we'll talk about important cricket related current affairs. Aaron Finch, who announced retirement from international cricket, is a famous player from which country? So recently he has announced his retirement and he is from the country Australia. Which entity is the title sponsor for India's home cricket matches for the 2022-23 season? This is MasterCard. Who is the most successful pace bowler in the history of international cricket as of 2022? Answer is James Anderson. Who is the first cricketer to play 600 matches in T20 cricket? This is Kieron Pollard. Okay. England's Leicester cricket ground has been named after which Indian cricketer? So this cricket ground of England has been named after Indian player Sunil Gavaskar. India has been elected as the host of ICC Women's Cricket World Cup in which year? Answer would be 2025. Can you tell me for the year 2024 which country would be the host of ICC Women's Cricket World Cup? Do let me know in the comments. Which is the first country to announce equal pay for both male and the female cricketers? So New Zealand has decided to pay equally to both male and the female cricketers irrespective of domestic or international matches. Okay. So these are the revision of few important current affairs from the month of October, and now from next week we'll shift to November month. Okay. Now let's start with today's quiz. Here on the slide you can see 5 questions which have been taken from the past 2-3 days current affairs. Pause the video and try to solve each of these questions, and at the end of the lecture do not forget to share your scores in the comment section. So please be honest and do not cheat with yourself. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. These were the important news and events from today, and we will meet again tomorrow with some more important current affairs. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, me Yudh Abhyas-2022 signing off.